I live in a town where you can still hear church bells chime on a Sunday morning, where families gather with pride to watch their children grow like flowers in the sun. We honor the brave who sacrificed for our country and those who continue to serve and protect us. In the spirit of love, belonging, and acceptance, this program was created. I'm Marie Wyman, and welcome to Close to Home. Hello, welcome to Close to Home. Today we have as our guests Amy Paretsky and Terry Gianetto, co-chairs of the Northborough Town Common Committee. It's great to have you both here with us today. Tell me, this is a wonderful program and I'm excited about it. Tell us, Terry, what exactly is the Northborough Town Common proposing?
Well, we're a group of residents that got together really over the last few months, and what we want to do is create a town common in the center of town. Most New England towns have a central common that they've had for years since the town inception. We don't have that, we've never had it, but there are times that you feel that need to have some kind of a community anchor spot. Mm-hmm. And what we found is just recently is that the town actually owns 2 parcels already of land right in the center of town, and there are another couple that we hope to acquire to create this space. So it would be about 1 acre of land, and our thought is to help revitalize the downtown a little bit. It has become a little bit run down. I think all of us have visions of how we might want to change or improve or revitalize the downtown. And as we look at this, since the town owns a couple of parcels already right in the heart of downtown, which is so unique, that doesn't happen, that you find land available.
Exactly.
We want to just take that chance, take that opportunity to create a common and actually beautify the downtown center and create more of a walkable, pedestrian-friendly, usable green space down there.
It's an idea that's been kicking around, I understand, for many, many years.
Yeah. I mean, I'm brand new to this, but once we started digging into it, and Amy had seen this quite a lot, the master plan that was written back in '97 had talked about it. I mean, it's probably been in master plans even before that.
I've been in town for 31 years, and it actually was talked about back then, too, as well.
Yeah.
So it's something that's very important.
Right. And, you know, we're hoping that it benefits everybody, really, that it benefits businesses, because if you create a usable space where you run things like Apple Fest or maybe road races or farmers markets, those kinds of events where people are coming, and perhaps businesses too, in terms of farmers markets or art fairs and that kind of thing, you're providing a steady stream of customers and activity in the downtown. You also beautify the downtown, which is another draw to bring businesses in to the town. And having that steady stream of people really, one would think, would keep the businesses,
going. And I think the idea is too, there's so many towns in the area that do have such viable spaces within the town that they use for community events. It's such a draw. And especially to newcomers that are coming into the town.
Right.
The first time they see the downtown, it doesn't make a very good impression,
it doesn't right now, right. And
so
we're hoping to, if the town can invest in its town center, I think it benefits everybody, really.
It's a very valid point. Right. And I understand both you and Amy have done a lot of work speaking in front of people as well, and it's a very intergenerational type of plan that doesn't leave anybody out. In fact, you recently have spoken at the senior center, is that correct?
Well, we were at the senior center, but to speak to the Rotary Club. But you're right, as we've talked to different groups, there are lots of different age groups that we've been speaking to, but also that the project itself appeals to a lot of different age groups. As we were going through this, we were saying, Northborough has a lot of space. Most of the open space or recreation space that we have is geared to either
too, as well.
Little kids, Assabet Park, let's say, or the sports teams, 135 Park and the ball fields, or hiking trails. So, and those are terrific. They service a whole lot of people in the town. but still there's some segments of the population that maybe can't fully utilize those spaces. So this is just a small little piece downtown, but it's meant to be intergenerational in that you can have a baby in a stroller, you can be on your bicycle, you can
it's
be
about
a
an
senior
acre,
walking.
isn't it?
It's an acre.
Yeah, an acre of land. And so that in and of itself, it presents a unique opportunity for the town to establish a green space and something that's aesthetically pleasing as people are coming through town. So that's wonderful. What else have you decided that is important in this package?
Well, in a way, putting a signature look to Northborough. I think that would be important, having a downtown common. When you think of Northborough, I'm not quite sure what we have that one would think is
typical New England.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
So creating that that green space, I think, would help provide that that traditional New England charm, that look and feel that from days past, and trying to revitalize the town.
We do have some pictures of days past too as well.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see them, and it's nice to understand that progress, albeit it necessarily, it has to be done in the face of technology and things that we need to do as a civilization to move forward. But it's always nice to look back and see how it was then, and it was very pretty back then as well. We have some lovely pictures. And I think the important thing is that people be educated on exactly what this committee is doing. And I think that's why the program is important today.
Right.
I think you both would agree that.
So I know that Amy actually got us started in all of this.
Yes, Amy, we wanted to hear about that actually. It started with some very smart moves on your behalf, and I give you credit for that, and some signatures. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. I was part of an ad hoc committee that was formed back in the fall of 2014. And it was a group of 6 people, and we were all from the Planning Board Open Space. And we were told that Northborough now does own 39 West Main Street, and our goal was to give an idea to the selectmen on what we should do with this property. Should we sell it, or should we keep it for some municipal purpose? And being there were only 6 people on the committee, I thought, this is really important. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Very smart of you, I might add. I can congratulate you on that.
Oh, thank you. So I decided to put a survey out there, and it was out on Facebook to see what the residents wanted. I had a feel from my neighbors, but I wanted to see as a whole what the town felt. What would they like to see there? So I put a survey out, and 290 people responded in a short period of time.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
98% were for green space.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Those figures are really impressive, Amy.
right,
Very
it was a really
impressive.
short amount of time, and you don't get that feedback a lot. And so we decided, a lot of the people who would volunteer, we formed a committee, the Northborough Town Common Committee. And we went out and we got signatures. We got 525 signatures within a 2-week period.
I guess that tells us the people have spoken.
They have.
Really?
And it was
very
winter,
nice.
it was cold.
Right.
It was in
It
the
was
middle
February.
of all that
Yeah.
snow.
Really? How amazing. I think you probably had mentioned to me previously that you could have gone on and on with that.
We could have. But the town said, okay, that was enough for now. We understand that people
get
are
the
interested
message.
in this.
Yeah, we get the
and so
message.
we'll give a year for the committee to present an application and have the town vote on it at town meeting if the CPC decides it's a good idea.
And you also put out those wonderful signs. We have the sign right here, and it's a wonderful sign. I saw them all over town, and I was very impressed. And that was a great idea. Was that the committee decided they were going to do that?
It was a committee decision, and there are 200 signs out there, and we still get calls every day, emails every
Really?
day of people who want signs.
Building
but
a waiting list.
Unfortunately, they're all distributed all over town. And
That's wonderful.
it's
Yeah.
great, and it's a great diverse group. I mean, we have people in our committee that have lived in Northborough forever, and we have people who are new to town, and everybody had the same idea that they
Wow.
thought it was a great idea.
That everybody was on the same page. That's amazing. So it's really something that speaks to what the people really want. So that is really interesting.
Right.
So that's a great project.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it seems to make sense every time we talk to somebody about the project, where it is, how we're going to do it, why we think it makes sense. It's really rare that you get somebody who says, yeah, but. People seem to be, this would be terrific. This is a great way to help improve the look and feel of the downtown, but have a nice space to call your own.
Actually, when we talk in terms of, in reality, how things are going to obviously be financed, we have a great resource in the Community Preservation Act.
Right.
And can you tell us a little bit about that and how that funding has been put aside for obviously similar things to this, what the town really needs.
For community preservation, really.
Right.
So it may have been about 10 years back or so that the state created this program, and Northborough has been doing this for the last 6 or 7 years, I think it is. So we voted and agreed 6 or 7 years ago to take part in this Community Preservation Act. And what that means is 1.5% of our property taxes we pay an additional 1.5%, and we have been for these last 6 or 7 years. That's part of what we pay in our property tax bill.
So that's already put aside.
So it's money that's put aside.
It's not additional. We should make the public aware that it's no additional. We're not talking about any direct additional spending or taxation. Here,
so in looking to do this project here, this would come out of monies that are already being funded. Yeah. So so these monies get funded directly to the CPC account, or the Community Preservation Act account, and they have an overseeing committee, which we call the CPC, Community Preservation Committee. And that's a committee of Northborough residents who take a look at basically applications. We'll be sending in our application in the next couple of days that will talk about this project. Why is it a good project? How are we, all the details.
I understand there's very strict adhesion to
the state mandates.
To the state mandates. Yeah.
Right. So there's a whole chart of different requirements that you need to follow, and basically, community preservation funds can be used for open space, for recreation space, for community housing, and for historical preservation.
Right.
And then even within those categories, there are finer details that you need to meet criteria before you
It's
qualify
pretty strict,
for
though,
this.
and the public should know that. It's a pretty strict adhesion to that.
Yes.
Is that correct?
And in this case, for this project, we feel like we've actually hit on 3 out of the 4 different categories, because it is open space that we're trying to reclaim.
Exactly.
And then recreation, it's a passive recreation. It's not a ball field, but it's an open space recreation space in terms of gathering spot. And then historical as well, because the anchor point of this whole space is our Civil War monument that we've had. Apparently it was built in 1896. I didn't know this until we started looking into it. So we've had this since 1896, and I know the Historic Commission is still looking for appropriate spaces to add other memorials as needed. I know we don't have one for the Revolutionary War.
Right.
We certainly don't have any for the more current conflicts that we've been involved in, and so this would be a great setting to use that space for historic monuments. So in terms of meeting the CPA requirements, it's open space, it's recreation, and historic as well.
Okay, I understand that we will show some pictures of what the town looked like in days gone by, when that space we are actually referring to, mansions. There were a couple of mansions there, and there was some space there, and way back when, I think in the 1800s, I'm not quite sure, but I think we do have, we're going to be showing some pictures about that too as well. And when you talked, I thought it was very interesting when you talked about affordable housing. I understand that it was at least $500,000 that was earmarked for that. Is that correct?
Right. So in the last year, the CPC, the committee, had voted to earmark, if you will, or fund $500,000 towards community housing as one of their projects. And every year, there's always a number of projects. In the past, we've spent money on acquiring land, hiking trails, lots of acreage around, mostly on the outskirts of town for the hiking trails. There's Mount Pisgah, and there's land over by
Park
Greens.
Too, isn't
Oh,
there?
exactly. All of those areas.
And they're beautiful too.
They are.
Anybody's
they
ever
are.
gone on there. They're really lovely.
Right.
Lovely
So the
trails.
CPC does great stuff like that. It's acquiring land to preserve it, so it will always be that. So
Because Will
the green
Rogers said,
space.
invest in land. They're not making any
Right.
more of it. So
Right.
that's the truth of the
And then
matter.
investing in the community housing, it's a need in town, and
That's right.
And so the town actually just voted to spend $500,000 into that fund, so that when they find appropriate housing lots, they can spend that money to create
Exactly.
affordable housing there. So we're looking at this project as this is now yet another project of merit.
That-
These are also great
absolutely,
projects.
absolutely.
But this might be the next thing to focus on, something
Now,
that covers
with the-
all ages.
I think what
you
we're
know.
kind of interested in too is what the park will actually look like
Yeah.
too as well. And we do have pictures about that too. And I understand Ms. Smith has designed the,
That's right. So
Yep.
Diane Smith, she's on our committee, and she actually owns Trillium Tree Landscape.
very nice.
And she has been amazing. I mean, she is a landscape architect, and she was able to, use her knowledge and background to take a look at this space. She pulled all those GIS maps and forms, and she was able to do a preliminary layout of what the town common could look like. We know this is probably Rev 1 of many revs that
right,
will come.
in any project,
But
I'm sure. But
in this
gives you an
particular
idea of-
drawing, it shows how it could look. We have Route 20 is out here, Main Street, and we already have our Civil War monument in this lot of land.
Right. I don't know whether we can put that up there or not, but it is a beautiful 1.3 actually acres, and some of the things that we talked about are imbued in that lot in the front, and it makes it very pleasing to the eye. As you go by, it looks really beautiful.
Yeah, and her landscape design, she was actually trying to model some of this off of the Assabet Park architecture.
yes.
So when Cyrus Gale had, I guess,
And
donated
just- yeah.
all of that
Yeah,
land,
yeah.
this was part of that space, and she's
Okay.
modeling some of the stone wall effects and the
Oh,
openings
that-
and the
that
gates
should be lovely.
after the same historic view that was there in the
Well,
other
we're going
part.
to take a short break right now, and we'll come right back and we'll talk about other aspects of this wonderful endeavor, timelines, what the public can do to support this worthy cause to make our downtown look beautiful.
As paramedics, we see the effects of drinking and driving.
We've responded to far too many crashes where alcohol was a factor.
Since 2004, 1,337 people in Massachusetts have been killed in alcohol-related crashes.
That's a number I take personally.
If you've had too much to drink, don't drive.
I don't want to be the one loading you into the back of my ambulance because of your bad judgment.
For the sake of someone's son or daughter,
Or someone's mother or father.
please don't drink and drive.
Hi, welcome back to Close to Home. We discussed just before the break interesting and lovely design by Diane Smith. And we actually wanted to show you and tell you where in the downtown area this proposed green space will be located. So Amy, there's an interesting map right there.
Sure. This space is located, if I do the corner of it where the Civil War monument is, it's on the corner of Monroe Street and West Main Street. So that's somewhat our anchor right now, the Civil War monument. And then there's an empty space in the middle with 39 Main Street over here on the left. 39 West Main Street is the one that the town owns. And there's another open lot that's landlocked right behind it. It's just trees, so that
Interesting.
was,
That's a proposed area too as well, isn't it?
right, well, that's part of our application. We hope to acquire both 20 Rear Gale, which is behind 39 West Main Street, and 45 West Main Street, which is right in between 39 West Main Street and War Memorial. Hopefully that's not too confusing. But the War Memorial too, with that, we've been talking to the Historical Commission, and we hope to expand on the War Memorial as part of the town common.
That would be lovely.
Right, so we've been
Very,
working
very
with
nice.
them on this too.
And knowing that the area would have lovely benches and places
Right.
to meet and mothers with baby carriages and town walkers. I know my husband and I walk, and I know many other people. Bob Ellis, God love him, the historian, he walks, and it's just such a really nice anchor, like Terry was saying originally, and to have that remembrance of our war memorial and be able to gather near there. I think that's really heartwarming and very New England, and I think that's a really wonderful proposal. The other thing that we wanted to talk about too is that this type of revitalization is nothing new for our area here in New England. There are many towns that are doing just that. And I came across an article in the Boston Globe the other day about Hudson. And it was a wonderful article on 3 entrepreneurs that have really gone over and above to put in this great little micro creamery, and it's right in the downtown of Hudson. And the owners, it really has opened up the town along with other businesses, and I think this is very important for the public to know that this is happening all over, and we really need to get behind it. And I guess that's our next informational bite here. What we have accomplished so far in doing this, and what the timelines will be for further exploration of this. And let's talk about that, Terry.
Yeah, well, so like we mentioned, we've got 2 lots that are already owned by the town. The other 2 are owned by private owners. And we have approached, as a committee, we've approached both sets of owners and had discussions with them about our proposal. They do seem to be interested in the idea that we're proposing. And obviously it will come down to dollars at the end.
Right.
The way the CPC works is that a town can only pay up to appraised value
Of the property.
of the property.
Right.
And so these owners understand that as well. So obviously our first step was to go and get an appraisal and see, do our numbers come close to what their expectations are. So we did a round of meetings and presentations, and we did finally get approval from the CPC for them to spend money out of their operating expense to go ahead and order an appraisal for both of those properties.
Very good.
So that's happening now. It should be due in any day, so we're waiting with bated breath to get those results and find out what that is. That will kick off our next set of discussions with the owners and see how close we come on price. So our timeline is that our appraisals are just finishing now. And our application to the CPC is also due in the next few days. So all of that will be finalized, completed, and sent in to the CPC. What they do is in the fall, they take applications from everybody, from other boards and committees that have projects as well.
Obviously vying for the same dollars, right?
Right. So there may be an application or a few applications from the Historic Committee for historic funds, or from Recreation for some other project. And so this will be one of many that they'll need to review. So at the end of all those reviews, they will need to take a vote and determine which ones will they put on the ballot, basically, for town meeting.
Right.
Because ultimately the town still gets to vote on what we want to spend our dollars on, but this committee helps guide those applications in the right process. So that vote will happen either late fall or early winter. What we are really hoping and asking for, in addition to the support that people have given us already, putting signs out.
What can the general public do
Yeah.
to make sure that the people have spoken and they get what they really want?
So we've
What
been
can you
asking
do?
people that once we know the date, once we know when the CPC will be holding their meetings and taking their vote, that's when we actually want to have people come to those meetings. They're public meetings, and to show your support. If we can pack the room full of people that think the town common is a fabulous idea, let's show them that, and let's show that there is support for it. Already we're seeing it around town with the signs and the talk that's out there.
Right.
But if it's something that you think is a real, true, viable project for you, come to the meeting and be in the room and show your support.
Right. And I
this-
understand that publicity, as far as publicity is concerned, I think we had talked about the Boston Globe doing some kind of an article or something, or the TNG, and getting the credibility factor.
Right.
And this is a viable project, and I think it's really important for the public to know that.
Yeah, there have been a couple of articles already as we've gotten underway, and absolutely, as we head into the fall and get clearer information on when those meetings will happen and dates, our intention is to publicize it as much as we can. We want to get another article out there in all the local papers, and you're right, talking to the Globe might be an interesting tie-in to
Exactly.
Hudson and other
and you're
local
gonna put
towns.
You're going to put it on your Facebook page.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be on the
It's so northboroughtowncommon.org is the website that we have, and there's a Northborough Town Common Facebook page as
Okay.
well. So and
and
all you
how
have to do is click.
and how can the public actually access all of that?
So if you have Facebook, just up on the top corner, if you type in Northborough Town Common,
Okay.
it will show up as an option, and you click it, and you're on the page. You can like the page, you can comment on things you see there. And
That's
if
a
you want to
wonderful
send us an
idea.
email, it's northboroughtowncommon.org. And Amy and I, actually, our names and phone numbers and emails are on that page. So,
Okay.
and that's how a lot of people, I've been getting all kinds of emails and phone calls, actually, from some. Saying, we hear that there's this project out there, and how do we get a sign, and so forth. I had one woman, actually, we thought this was great. She had seen the signs all over town, and she didn't know how to get hold of us. So she went to the town hall, and she went up to the town administrator's office and said, so how do I get a sign?
I know, that
And he
is
walked
so
her right
funny.
through the process.
That
It
is
was great.
so funny. And we do have some quotes, and you know, I thought maybe Amy would like to read some of the quotes just to kind of
Yes.
finalize this show and let everybody know that this isn't an idea that was just thought up in you know, the last 10 days or maybe 3 months. This idea has been really circulating for many, many, many years. A beautification or some kind of a general appeal, aesthetic appeal to the downtown, which has been lacking, sadly. So, Amy, I know she has some quotes
Sure.
that are very interesting.
Sure, we have a master plan that was written for the town in 1997, and they pointed out that creating a town common was a great way to strengthen the downtown land use pattern and move the downtown towards being more pedestrian oriented.
That's interesting.
And it was written in 1997, but it was a long-range plan. They even wrote it at that time, so this is a perfect time.
It is. It's been a long range, hasn't
Right,
it?
right.
It's been a long haul, and you have. I know you have
Sure.
some other quotes too as well.
This is also from the master plan. It said on page 55, compared to Shrewsbury or Westboro, Northborough lacks a classic, attractive downtown. The elements are mostly there, but they are obscured from the lack of green space in the downtown.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that says it all, folks. And I think probably we're going to close. So thank you for coming today and listening to us. And we hope we've given you some information about this worthwhile project. Until next time, bye for Close to Home.